After being disappeared in September 2021, new revelations have surfaced about the former secretary of China's Huaxing Bank, ranked among the globe's top 1,000 banks. And his case highlights intensifying anti-corruption efforts amidst internal turmoil and economic crisis in China. Zhang Changgong has been missing for 3 years with no explanation, and his whereabouts are still a mystery. But a new report details shocking allegations of embezzlement in a case that is said to have involved a staggering amount of funds, hundreds of millions for stock trading, and implicating several financial sector elites. Hello China watchers, welcome to China Insights. I'm David Zhang, and on this channel we cover some of the most gripping news and current affairs stories from China. If you like the sound of that, do subscribe to the channel. And now let's get into the story. This is Zhang Changgong, born in October 1965 in China's Anhui province. He was a civil servant in his early years, had worked for China's Merchant Bank and Industrial Bank. He then became the president of Industrial Bank Hangzhou branch in 2012. 3 years later, in January of 2015, he became the vice president and party committee member of China Zhengshan Bank until he stepped down 3 years later in October of 2018. So that's where things started to get more interesting, but also more complicated. A year later, in October of 2019, Guangdong Huaxing Bank announced that Zhang would serve as the party secretary of the bank. After being moved to that position, Zhang Changjing kept a low profile, although there were rumors that he had been asked to assist in an investigation. Now, what kind of investigation, you might be asking? Well, it was only rumors at the time, but then suddenly in September of 2021, Zhang was taken away himself for investigation. Apparently no one knows the exact date he was taken or to where he was taken, but since then he's become another case of disappeared by the Chinese authorities. So back to today. Caixin's report doesn't state what Zhang's physical or mental condition is, or even where he is, but it cites sources that state that Zhang received bribes totaling approximately 300 million RMB and misappropriated over 600 million RMB in public funds. And that's a total for around 1 billion RMB total. And converting that into US dollars, we're still talking about 140 million US dollars. Now, Zhang's cases seems to mainly accuse him of diverting bank funds into asset management plans for stock trading. The report mentioned that Zhang's case is comparable in scale to that of Sun Deshun, a former president of China CITIC Bank, who was investigated in 2019 for illegal acceptance of assets totaling around 979.5 million RMB, or again converted 137 million US dollars, and received a suspended death sentence. So a similar sentence is likely going to happen for Zhang, although it may not include life imprisonment. Would Zhang ever get to plead his case before a court or a jury? Unlikely. Actually, not very likely at all. He was a party secretary for the bank and therefore answers to the party who will decide his fate, not the court. However, the story doesn't end there. Insiders have moved forward to reveal that Zhang has managed to avoid a death sentence by making what is termed significant contributions. So the implication here being that he is still alive and well enough to access his own bank account. So they took the money back. To whom were these significant contributions were made out to? Well, the report doesn't state that at all, but since all significant organizations within China have to be registered with the Chinese Communist Party to be able to operate, plus Zhang himself is a party member, we can fairly sure to assume that the money has gone to the party and will be put into whatever the party decides to use, and I think maybe that's the economy. While making these significant contributions, Zhang is reported to have now implicated 4 or 5 prominent figures in the financial sector with the crimes of embezzlement as well. The report states that these figures and their connections to Zhang have been verified. Among them was the former chairman of the Zhejiang Bank, Shen Renkang, along with several other high-ranking officials. Now, this is another sign of anti-corruption efforts intensifying under Xi Jinping, and also the internal turmoil within the ranks of the CCP, amid China's economic crisis, of course. So how deep exactly does this all go? Well, according to the former media analysis, it suggests that the CCP is intensifying its anti-corruption efforts within the financial sector Statistics show that from January to September this year, at least 75 people in the financial system were investigated, with 6 major state-owned banks becoming the primary battleground. Now, the CCP intensified anti-corruption efforts in the financial sector since 2020. According to official reports, the number of financial officers that were investigated has risen annually, 15 in 2020, then 39 in 2021, 56 in 2022, 75 in 2023. Now, in the first 9 months of 2024 alone, 75 financial officers have been investigated, and that's a startling figure because we're not even done with the year yet. Lai Xiaomin, the chairman of China Huaxing, was sentenced to death, embezzled 1.8 billion RMB. However, in the context of corruption in the financial sector, this amount seems almost insignificant. The sums involved in the corruption within this sector often reach trillions of RMB, with lesser amounts barely registering in the circle. Now, according to Bloomberg's September report, the CCP is strengthening oversight of 8,700 investment banking professionals. And since August, at least 3 top bankers from different securities firms have been detained, one of whom, formerly responsible for trading operations at Haitong Securities, he fled China but was later arrested overseas and repatriated. Insiders disclosed that Haitong Securities and other state-owned brokerage firms recently required numerous investment banking staff to surrender their passports, with all official and personal travel now subject to approval. So overseas Chinese scholar Ran Hongbing recently commented that the sweeping purge within the CCP's financial and banking systems is a continuation of Xi Jinping's policy, of course, to consolidate wealth from rival officials, and is also to bolster his own funds for the covert military and stability effort. Yuan stated that as China's economy experiences a steep decline and unemployment surges, local governments are nearing financial exhaustion, and the nation faces diplomatic isolation. Xi Jinping is tightening control over the financial activities is to ensure that should a Taiwan conflict occur and international sanctions follow, he can utilize highly centralized resources to counteract economic sanctions. On October 28th, CCP state media Xinhua reported that Xi Jinping presided over a Politburo meeting to review the 3rd round of inspection summaries. It urged party committees at all levels to, quote, continuously raise political awareness and to promote officials, quote, mobility in positions and maintain, quote, high pressure on corruption. The report also mentioned that, quote, other matters were discussed. Commentator Lin Liyi stated that Xi Jinping's financial anti-corruption campaign has become a measure to address a regime crisis. Previously, it was about wresting financial control from elites to strengthen his power, which, of course, has surged. However, after the 20th Party Congress, as Xi's power peaked, the regime he controls now faces accelerated decline. And the CCP's heightened corruption crackdowns and measures to amass public wealth are closely related to both economic and political crises. Li also noted that Xi originally sought to seize financial controls from elites while consolidating power. However, with his power peaking, the regime is facing accelerated decline, and the CCP's recent financial anti-corruption push is increasingly intertwined with its current economic and political crises. It's an effort to quickly gain control of social assets to avert potential regime instability. Xinhua's recent coverage highlighted 2 notable points. First, the meeting emphasized raising political awareness among party committees, which is curious given the fact that Xi Jinping is now in his 3rd term. They've had a long time. And why is political awareness still being stressed? Given the fact that the CCP's pattern of emphasizing what is lacking, could this indicate that some officials have taken the wrong side? Recent peculiarities at the top level suggest that Xi's grip on power may be slipping, and the meeting's call for, quote, mobility in positions could hint that Xi Jinping himself. If so, this directive for heightened political awareness may be a signal to Xi's remaining allies to heed the shifting dynamics. On the 28th, Xi's close ally Yi Lianhong was suddenly replaced as Zhejiang Party secretary, with former Governor Wang Hao assuming the role. This unexpected decision without warning might be related to the changes in the CCP's internal power structure. Xinhua reported that Yi Lianhong stepped down due to age, as he had just turned 65, which is the retirement age for top officials. Yi's farewell remarks highlighted, quote, his complete support and firm obedience to the central decision. Previous officials would mention things like the party central committee and Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, yet Yi only referred to the central committee without naming Xi Jinping, which is strange. Yi Lianhong's abrupt removal may correlate with the Politburo's call for this raising political awareness. Could this mean that the true power holders in the CCP are now systematically removing Xi's close allies? If so, it means gradually we could see a purge of Xi's influence. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel for more China insights. And my name is David Zhang. Thank you so much for watching.